Hi. When it comes to grief and loss, a lot of pain, emotional pain, a lot of times comes up with a life-changing loss. Does God understand your emotions? Does He? I believe He does, because I believe He made emotions and He has emotions, and we can see them in the Word. So this has been my new series here on the live, as well as my YouTube channel, Julie Kay Kettles. Hope you join me for the full series. There is a playlist, and it will be in the description of this video right here. So I completed my 6th one in this series today to be uploaded for the channel. There are 5 already on there. So this is me touching on this overall and letting you know about it and inviting you to be a part of this discussion and letting me know what you think about all of this and how you've struggled with your emotions. Have you? Do you know what to do with them? Do you think they're even good? Do you think that God is involved with the emotions we have? So this could be a touchy subject, but I think it's one that needs to be explored, and that's why I'm taking my time on going through each and everything that I can see is important about them and that I've learned and that I am learning about, because I'm learning myself about it. So thanks for joining me here. I'm Julie Kay, helping you find your way through grief and loss, if you want the help and if the Lord enables me to help you, because I don't claim to know it all by any means. So I am, I am excited about this series because I think it's a really important one. And I don't know how many other people have touched on this specifically. There's many other things to talk about, but in our soul, we have mind, will, and emotions. That's what I was taught, and I believe that's true. So emotions are 1/3 of our soul, and our soul is 1/3 of our being. So, which is body, soul, and spirit. So, just to kind of let you know what I've been going over is, first of all, what do emotions do for us? And I established on my first video that they are good. And I talked about that last week and the week before that on my lives. And again, that God made them. And I have a video right on that about His emotions. I really touched on mainly 3 of the emotions that I see in the Word. There's more, I'm sure, but that are very obvious. And the first one's anger. How God was angry with the sins and the rebellion and the disobedience of His people. And we see it with Jesus, yes, overturning the tables in the synagogue. But also a positive emotion that we are more accepting of is feeling pleased or happy or that kind of thing. Hi. And, God has that feeling of pleasure and enjoyment and happiness about what He created. And He said it over His Son. He said it in the beginning in Genesis that He was pleased by what He created. And then He said about His Son, "This is my Son in whom I'm well pleased." And that word also means merry or happy, as we like to use in our day and age in America here, at least. So, and then another one I touched on in that video is about how God gets sad, how He experiences sadness, and how Jesus cried. He wept. And that passage, many people know about that passage. It has to do with the raising of Lazarus, or when Lazarus died. And then Jesus rose him from the dead. And it's a very, very popular passage to study in the Word of God. But when I looked into the original words and did an exposition, I'm saying the word wrong. Anyway, when I really looked into that, I'm not going to touch on it all here today, but it's in my video on that. And it's really quite interesting. His emotions go way further than just some tears, because the word there used is tears. He cried. He definitely cried. He had some tears coming down. We don't know if it was a lot of tears or just a few, but he definitely had tears. But there's stronger emotions than that Jesus was experiencing at that time. If you look into the verse and into the lexicon through BibleHub.com, by the way, you can see more about that. So I learn more, of course, by teaching. I learn more. So I would encourage you to see that video on my channel. My channel is since the beginning of 2022, when the Lord moved me to do so and told me to get regular. I also have shorts. I have fun shorts, nature shorts, and short videos, and also shorts, which are clips of my longer videos that you can watch. And then, yeah. So anyway, I'm in the middle of a series on emotions, and I did my 6th video today. There's 5 of them already in my playlist on YouTube. So if you want that link to that playlist, I'd be happy to text it to you or message it to you. But if you go on my channel and put in emotions, those videos should pop up, along with putting in Julie Kay Kettles or just Julie Kettles usually will help you find them too. So I'm going in depth, and the whole point of this is to help us with our grief and loss, as I always do. But we experience emotions over everything in life, right? And sometimes we're maybe not very emotional, but we experience all kinds of emotions. But some of our emotions have been shot down, like anger and other ones like that, or sadness or depression, depressive feelings, feeling hopeless. Things like that. A lot of us don't like to help other people with that or deal with that. We don't know what to do with when we experience it. So really this series is for life in general, okay? But it definitely applies to grief and loss, because our wounds of our heart definitely involve our emotions. And part of our soul is our emotions. It's our thoughts too, and our mind. So welcome. So our emotions are a part of who we are. And I don't think we can really negate that we have them, right? Or that we were made to have them, whether you're a believer in God or not. And whoever created, we are built to have emotions. And in my 1st and 2nd video, I really talk about how emotions benefit us, how they help us, because they do. And think about it. Would you want an emotionless get together with a bunch of people, whether it be a party, a wedding, a funeral, a football game? Hey, and would you want any of those things, a football game, a party, a wedding, a funeral even? Would you want any of those without my emotions? We wouldn't feel connected without emotions. We would not, and that's just one of the things I go over in my video of the benefit of emotions. But that's, I think, an easy way to just go, you know what, that'd be boring. And I just say, well, what would you even call that? Well, it'd be like being like robots. All it would be our thinking and our minds. And we wouldn't be connected, because our emotions help to connect us. So that's one of the reasons why they benefit us. Emotions can be a guide to us and can help us to know what is underneath and what we're going through. Emotions can help us know what matters to us, what we're passionate about, what we get angry or upset about or disappointed over. Really has usually to do with things that matter to us, that are very important to us. So this is part of what I go over in the beginning of my series. But like today, what I talked about on my video that will be coming out is really, what do we do with them? And so the beginning of that, in one of my videos, I talk about accepting emotions, accepting the fact that we have them, accepting them, period, accepting that they're there, and then allowing them to surface, allowing them to come up. And that's that whole thing, making room for them. So that's, I think, kind of the beginning of what we do with them after we realize that they're there and they're not going to go anywhere, and that they're part of who we are, so that we establish that they're not bad. Even when we don't like them, they're not bad. Pain in our body. We don't like pain in our body. I have to say this because I think it's a good correlation. We don't like pain in our body. Who likes pain? Nobody. Nobody likes pain. Some people can tolerate pain better than others, right? But pain is not fun. But those who don't have pain, and then all of a sudden they find out because they get sick and they have a scan done and there's a tumor, like a friend of mine that I dance with, She doesn't have pain. She didn't have pain. She didn't know she had a tumor, and it's malignant, and it's cancer, y'all. And so it's not good when we don't have pain, although we don't like pain. And I think it's that way with emotions. The ones that we don't like, we would sometimes rather not have, but they're there to be a guide. So I want to kind of bring that to our attention so that we can learn from them, because we can learn from our thoughts if we really try to. You know, our thoughts can tell us a lot about us, and we can work on our thoughts and our thinking, but same with our emotions. They're more of a symptom, and we need to pay attention to them. And when they're attached to memories, and when they're attached to the person we lost that we are devastated over, that we're heartbroken over, you know, that those need to be tended to. And just like a wound that's painful needs to be tended to, and our body needs to be tended to when we have aches and pains and problems with our body, it's the same. So that's part of what I want to bring it out and kind of normalize emotions, and get us thinking differently than we probably did in our upbringing. And so many of us have been shut down with that, or told not to have them, or just be tough, and all these different things. So one of my last videos was all about that, all the reasons why we don't share, you know, or we don't feel comfortable to share, or we don't share emotions, or we feel uncomfortable to share them. And so I went over a bunch of reasons that came out of a book that is, let me get it. So I refer to this book right here, by Gina Moffa, Moving On Does Not Mean Letting Go. This book talks quite a bit about emotions. So I'm slowly reading through this. I got it from the library, and then my husband got me my own. By the way, it's not a library book anymore. But anyway, so this book has a lot of references to different things, and it's really helping, and it really kind of brings out what I already know about emotions. So I refer to that. But there's a list in there of different reasons why. Like, you know, the more sad thing is when so many kids are shut down with their emotions. They're just completely shut down with their emotions for whatever reasons. You know, get over it. Don't cry. Boys don't cry. You know, be tough. You know, it's all right. Whatever it is. If we're really shut down, that's really sad, because I don't agree with that. On the other hand, it could be simpler, something like we didn't have somebody model how to express our emotions and what to do with them. And some of y'all might be thinking, well, if we all just started letting out our emotions everywhere, we'd have even more problems, you know. And I'm going to be talking more about that in future, you know, lives and videos and stuff like that. But I really think that if we normalize, just like we need to normalize the expression of grief in general, then we can learn how to deal with it. Then we feel safe to deal with it, safer around more people. And then we're going to be calmer. We're not going to take it out in a wrong way to hurt other people or do wrong things and that kind of thing, or go to substances and other things that we do to numb that pain, but yet it doesn't deal with the pain. Because I know plenty of people have said it doesn't deal with the pain. And that can cause a lot of other problems, as we know. Addictions, relational problems, abuse, etc. So, you know, if we can normalize the expression of emotions and let us all help each other with what we do with them, I think it would be a better world, not a worse world. But it's all about the whole picture, and it's all about people's choices and what happens. You know, I'm not here to fix it all. I'm just here to say that this is an important piece within grief and loss, and the heartache that we go through is recognizing those emotions. So I really went into 3 different things on my video today that are another step, and that's how to respect your emotions. I used the word respect emotions. She does in the book right here. She actually mentions that. And then how to embrace them. Yes, embrace them. And that we need to lean into them and lean into each other when painful emotions are coming up. So it's one thing we do try to do in our support group. And the people who come, because we only have a few people coming right now. We used to have about 8 on average coming to our support group at our church, Calvary Chapel Worship Center. If you're interested, let me know. We do it every week, and I'm not leading it right now. We have different leaders throughout the year. but we put tissues in the middle of the circle, and we want people to feel that they can open up their thoughts, and they can open up with their emotions too, if the emotions surface and they need to do so. Those who have come have been able to do that, and they're so grateful. We just don't have enough people. Of course, ours is not for everybody, and everybody's not going to know about it. But I think a lot of times it's because people are afraid of their emotions, and they don't know if they're going to feel safe. And I understand that. It's taking a big risk and being bold to go into a support group. It takes a lot of courage to go into a support group. But I'm letting you know, those who have come are just like, why don't more people come? You know, we've had people come like for a year, like be very regular attenders. And many of them are like, why do not more people come? This is so beneficial. It's so helpful. Thank you so much. And so, but leaning into, so I'm not going to go into it on this. I do it on my next video, what leaning into is. And it's just so, you know, this is where I love Google and AI and all that, because it pulls together all this information and gives you a bigger picture of whatever you're looking up. So I really enjoyed making that video today on that. So that is important to know, because that is, you know, I've never dissected this, and I believe God's given me a compassion for people, and I tend to lean into it. And I said on the video today, look, I'm kind of leaning forward, physically leaning forward. And when you, I mean, think about it, when you're really in tune with somebody and you're really listening, hopefully you're focused on them, you're looking at them, you're being quiet and listening, but you're giving some kind of feedback, maybe just even a sound in your throat, and you're not letting others distract you, hopefully, as much as possible. And you're probably sitting up and maybe even leaning forward. So that leaning into is so powerful to help others, and it's what we need to do with our emotions, lean into them. A few weeks ago, I was taking a walk at the park, and I was angry. And I literally, it just felt good to just go, you know what? I'm angry, and that's okay that I'm angry. And just by saying it, especially with that emotion or any emotion, I think it helps to diffuse what may go overboard and flow out and go into wrong behavior or detrimental behavior. I said it, and I was like, yeah, that's okay. And it's understandable. And then I literally, it calmed me down just by saying that. If we can only empower children to do that, we need to empower ourselves though too, right? You know, my son with Down syndrome, sometimes he doesn't know how to express when he's upset. And so we try to tell him, use your words, you know, tell mom and dad if you're upset with something at school, tell the people who help take care of you at the home you live in, you know, tell school, you know, like instead of going into bad behavior, hitting somebody or something, you know, tell somebody how you feel. Well, that also takes somebody to listen, right? But it is really good advice to tell him that. But I think we all need to do that, right? And journaling is a great way. Using a journal book is a great way to get out anger, because maybe you don't feel anybody else is going to listen or care or be able to handle it. Get it out on paper. I've done it many times. It really helps. It really, really helps. It can help you to literally forgive somebody and let something that really, really, really angered you. It can really help you let it go. So that's what I was talking about today. And I want to touch on probably another video I'm going to make, but I haven't made. And that is, not only did God make emotions, and does he have emotions, but I believe he can handle our emotions. And not only he can handle them, I believe he literally leans into, and he comes near to us and wants so badly to help us with our heartache and with our emotions and our thoughts and our struggles and our troubles and our trauma and our grief and all of it, all the stuff that's hard, you know? And so Psalm 34 verse 18 is one of them. And it says, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That is the NASB version. I read NIV a lot because it's very simple and easy to read. But the NASB is actually the one that's used when you go into BibleHub.com, and you put just one verse into Google, and then if you put the word lexicon, you'll get like a kind of a graph in a sense with the original word, the meaning, and the like, because most of them are another tense or what have you. So you a lot of times see the original word, and then you see off to the left, whichever way you guys are looking. You see off to the left the actual English words, the way that version is the closest to the original for the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? So I'm going to just break this down a little bit, okay? So the Lord is near. So the Lord is the Lord, and that's his name. There's more than one name. So I'm not going to go into that, but he is the Lord, but it says the Lord is near. So that's the English word used there. The Hebrew word for that, because the Old Testament is mostly written in Hebrew, is Qarab. I'm not claiming to pronounce these right. Qarab. That's the transliteration. So that means to approach, to come near, to go near, to come nigh, to join, or to cause to bring forth. Those are all different meanings that come under that word for near. The Lord is approaching. I'm going to just put it like that so you can hear the different ones. The Lord is approaching who? The brokenhearted. And then I'm going to talk about the brokenhearted. But he's approaching. So he approaches the brokenhearted. He comes near the brokenhearted. He goes near. He joins the brokenhearted. Okay, I'm just going to stick with those. If you join somebody, a lot of times, do you want to join people? What are the different reasons? We all have different reasons. Everybody's happy. Oh, that person's so happy. I want to join them. I want to go over and sit down with them and join them. What's going on? Why are they so happy? If we join somebody, we usually like what we're seeing around them, their personality, their mood, their, emotions they're expressing, what have you, right? I actually, not that I don't do that, because I do, but I actually, because of the gift that God's put inside of me, I draw near to people who are vulnerable or sad or struggling, and they're being humble about it, and they're wanting help, because that's the gift I have. I'm a life coach, and I do love to help people, but I don't just do it as a coach. I do it in general if I'm in that setting to have that happen. So it's saying that the Lord literally joins those who are brokenhearted. That's a big word, right? It means to be broken in pieces, literally. And the word for that, it's a big word. I can't pronounce it, so it's a bigger word. I'm not going to try that one. But that's what it means to break in pieces. And it says with that, when you look it up, it says this is a message that is intended to soothe and restore those suffering emotionally. Look at that. So for the Lord to go near, the message there in what God is trying to do is to actually comfort, soothe, or restore those suffering emotionally. So I thought that was really neat. So that's what God does. So, and then it says, see, he saves also. He is near to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. So now we're looking at the word saves. A lot of us think, well, if you're a Christian, that means he saved me from my sins. Amen. Okay, but here's different reasons here also for that meaning. Or somebody's out in the middle of the ocean and they have nothing because of an accident or whatever. They have nothing to hold on to anymore. Or they did and now they don't. And even if they're a swimmer, if they're out there a long time, they're going to be too tired and they're going to start drowning. So somebody coming over and throwing them a life preserve or whatever it is, or picking them up, pulling them into the boat, that is a person who's saving that person, physically saving their life, right? That's huge. But here, this is what it means, can also mean, what it really means here. It's to deliver, to have compassion. It means to action of having compassion and saving the poor and needy. Having compassion and saving the poor and needy. So it also means to defend, to help, to rescue, and to preserve. So he wants to help. The Lord is near, as we already said, to the brokenhearted, and he wants to help those who are crushed in spirit. He wants to defend those who are crushed in spirit. He wants to rescue those who are crushed in spirit. He wants to have compassion and save the poor and needy and those who are crushed in spirit. All right. Now, the word crushed. Let's go into that. It's the word daka, D-A-K-A. Those who are crushed in spirit. Okay. That word daka means also contrite. Not a word we use a lot. Humble though, contrite heart, humbleness and contrite. Just somebody who's thinking low and feeling low and admits that they're needy and they don't think they got it all together and there's not pride and all of that kind of thing. So, but it also means bruised, oppressed, and beat to pieces. Beat to pieces. Now, doesn't that sound just like what we just said about brokenhearted? To break in pieces, being broken in pieces? Have you ever felt like you're broken in pieces? I can relate to that, especially after my daughter died. And in something I went through major before that too, at times I felt definitely broken in pieces and definitely bruised, wounded, bruised, right? Another verse that I need to include into is from Isaiah, and I'm not going into that today. Isaiah 61 talks about how God is the healer of the brokenhearted. So that right there says what he wants to do. Do you think he leans in if he's trying to save and heal? Definitely. If he's trying to deliver and save, any of those words, you have to get near the person to do that, don't you? If you're going to save them physically, you got to get near them. You could see them from afar off drowning out in the water, but you got to go and get near them in order to help them, right? So that's what God does. So those who are crushed in spirit are broken. Again, they're broken, they're bruised, humble, needy, all of that. And we could add more words to it. But that's what God does. He goes near and he saves and he wants to bring healing and restoration to those who are broken, crushed, bruised, wounded, whether it's trauma, grief, all of that. That's what he does. So that is so much deeper than just him creating emotions and having emotions. He understands our emotions and he wants to bring peace and comfort and healing and save and deliver and all of that. So that's just a little touch on it. I hope that spoke to you. Did y'all get anything out of that? Let me know. I love comments, and we'll definitely try to, if you have a question, we'll try to respond to them. And it matters that you're on here with me and that you're watching this. And I really hope that the Lord brings any healing you need into your life. If you need help one-on-one, I'm here for that. And I do a complimentary consult totally free for a whole hour for anyone who needs it with no obligation to go further. And if you want to know more about our support group, that is available. And then my YouTube channel is another thing that I offer that has many videos that you don't, and you know what I like to say is you don't have to watch me right now. Maybe you're watching me, maybe you're just listening. You know, you don't have to watch me. You don't have to stare at me. You can just listen. I mean, sometimes I hold up a book like I did, you know, but basically you can be driving, you can be cleaning, you can be doing whatever and listening to the videos. I'm also trying to get my channel out there more. So if you want to support me with that and you believe in what I'm sharing and what I'm doing, please turn on the videos more, even when, like I said, when you're driving or even when you're doing stuff around the house. And maybe they'll bless you. I hope they will bless you. Like them, press that like button, make a comment. All of that helps, just like it does everywhere on social media. It helps the videos to go out. And I have lots of people over in India and Bangladesh watching. As one of my most popular viewers next to the United States. And so I have a man that's helping me with the channel right now that's from Bangladesh. And he kept pursuing me and you know, reaching out and say, I really want to help you with your channel. You have great content. You know, we need to get it out there more. So I'm constantly learning about that, but you all can help. just by watching one or several or sharing them out or commenting or liking it, any of that helps, because that's what makes it all go out. Okay. Even more. So I appreciate your support and, even sharing this live out to someone who needs it, and subscribing if you haven't. I'm working hard to get to 1,000 subscribers. And once I do, that opens up more doors. That doesn't automatically monetize me yet, but it's part of what it has to be done. And I'm almost to 900. So if y'all have not subscribed, I don't do a ton of videos and you don't have to watch them, but you can do that. If you do want to see the uploads, then hit the bell too. Don't just subscribe, also hit the bell. And that allows you to, see when the videos come up, and you still have the choice of watching them then or whenever you want. Right. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me. I usually try to keep these about a half an hour, and God bless. Let me know, comment, let me know what's going on. If I can help you, if I can pray for you, if you know somebody else who's struggling and you want to connect me with them, let me know that. You can PM me on Messenger, Julie Kettles, like a teapot, Kettles, not Cuddles. When I say it, it comes out like Cuddles. And my son's on here. Hey, Jeremy. So you can see the name on right now if you see it. And like a teapot, Kettles chips, mom pa, kettle corn, whatever you want to call it, right? Quite easy name to remember once you know that. So signing off. Hope to see you next week at 7 p.m. or soon after 7 p.m. God bless. Bye-bye.